Here we are, kids.
And we're live.
Taproot Tuesday. Holy shit, it's been a while, right?
It's been I think we've only done 2 this year, 1 this year, a couple this year, 3 this year,
4
this year,
5 this year.
Not a lot.
Sorry they have been so infrequent. And we're just always busy, man. We're always on the road. Like Tuesdays are for packing usually. You know what I mean? Like I'm usually running around like a psychopath on Tuesdays trying to get ready to leave, or I'm driving somewhere, or I'm just fucking getting home from driving 2 days from somewhere else. Like
a lot of these shows last year were not that as far away as the ones we've done this year. You know, we've done the West Coast. We just got back from Florida not that long ago. Even this last weekend with Lansing and Columbus, man, I felt like it was days. I mean, like it didn't feel like just a quick 2-day weekend.
I know it felt long, but I tell you, that drive felt so short compared to like first driving to the West Coast and back, and then driving to Florida and back. Like that drive to Michigan was like nothing. I was like, oh fuck, we're here already. It was beautiful, man. It was beautiful. So, how's everybody doing, man? Tonight we're going to catch everybody up and pay our respects to our friend Jon Wysocki, who we unfortunately lost over the weekend. That was a pretty heavy fucking blow to all of us, the whole camp. You know, I found out as the guys were about to go on stage Saturday in Michigan, and it was man, it was hard to hold it together. Yeah, and it was it's not fun, but
I know, like anyone else, I guess paying attention to the social media, like they posted about it, like 4 or 5 hours before that.
They posted that he was in the hospital. I already knew he was in the hospital, so I didn't want to bring everybody's vibe down.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, I'll tell you guys after the show. And that was kind of my plan, and then he deteriorated so quick.
Very fast,
gone. I mean, at first I was like, oh, he's showing signs of improvement. That's like, no. So it's awful, man. And so I go back a long, long ways with Jon. Jon actually was, dude, you realize it was like fucking almost a year ago that he was on Taproot Tuesday?
Really? Wow.
So I went back and dug up the Taproot Tuesday Jon was on from last year when we all kind of rekindled this little bromance. And that was from last August. Crazy. He was in a different house. I was in a different house as before I moved here. Like it doesn't feel like that long ago, does it? But it's almost. But I guess it was before the machine shop because it's funny because we're talking about in there how they really wanted to get on the machine shop and then they couldn't, and then somebody dropped off. So we got him on. To get him on anyway. So that worked out.
Yeah, my band the band I was trying to push, Lift the Medium. They ended up.
Yeah, that's right. Out. Your boys fell off. Lift the Medium. Yeah, but me and Tanya were talking.
So now I have a new shirt to wear.
That's great. There you go. You replaced all your Lift the Medium shirts with Lydia's Castle shirts. That's funny. I was talking to Tanya today, and we were just saying, like, no matter what, like, it's so cool that we did this because, look, Jon got to spend the last year of his life out playing big shows and doing big stuff, and you know what I mean? Like, so I'm so happy we all connected, and like, he got to, spend the last year of his life, like, really being where he belongs on that big stage doing what he does, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm really happy we got to be a little bit of the part of the catalyst for that, taking Lydia's Castle out on a bunch of shows. And Jon was supposed to fucking fill in for you guys on some shows. The first one he was supposed to do got fucking canceled. So that would have been cool. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen now, but fuck, that would have been awesome. I wish we could have done it once now, but
I know, right?
It was a fun idea. It would have been fun. Even Jared was stoked about that, I think, man. Like, I wanted to see Jon Wysocki. Dude, he worked so hard. The last year I was at his house a lot and going down to Nashville to hang out with him a lot, as you know. And dude, he talked about Taproot constantly. Like, the whole time he'd be like sitting, beating out Taproot beats on the ottoman in front of his couch and like talking to me about songs. Is this part this or this or and I'd be like, oh, can you have Steve send me the set list? And he literally spent all of his time talking about Taproot, like learning the Taproot songs. Like he was so fucking stoked about doing that,
Yeah.
So well, the good thing is I never had to tell him that Throwdown at the Campground got canceled.
Right.
I never even got a chance to. got canceled last week, and then we were out, and I was going to hit him up after and talk to him about it.
And that's official, right? They've announced it.
Super official. They announced it like mid last week or something. Basically the day we were leaving. What's up, Brian Charles? How you doing, man? Rest in peace, John. Indeed, man. What a fucking bummer. What a bummer. So, but yeah, so I went back and I dug up. Dude, I went back and I dug up the Taproot Tuesday from last year. I think I'm going to play a couple minutes. So should we watch a minute of this?
Yeah, I agree.
Let's see. Maybe we'll watch a little bit, a couple of spots here and there, and then maybe later when we're wrapping up, I'll just kind of let some of it play for a while at the end when we're done yapping. This is so cool. So it's like kind of seeing the beginning of the bromance, the Taproot Jon Wysocki bromance. It all starts right at this moment right here. Give me a second, ladies and gents. And hopefully Shannon, John's fiance, said she was going to watch. If you are, hi Shannon, we love you. Phil almost wore that shirt tonight, but then he did not. He told me before we went on the air. Wholesome. He's like remember TGIF on NBC? Like that's Jared, man. Like the other night, someone came up to him and asked him to sign a body part. You should have seen the look on his face. He was just like,
thank you.
It was a very like it was not a classy request either. It was like kind of super, you want to sign my, he's like, no, thank you. It was quite, it just looked so uncomfortable. I was uncomfortable for her and him.
Oh, I know. I wasn't. It's like if someone, you teach your kids, like, hey, what you're supposed to say if someone offers them drugs, just say, no, I'm good. That's how I thought of it the same way.
It's funny, Jared, I got to use that same line later, or was it the night before, or was it that first night? Was it the first night or second night?
It was while Pop Evil was playing.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, yeah. So the next night, after our show, someone asked me, and I was able to pull off the no, thank you.
What's up, John?
I remember.
Hey, Tom. Yes, of course we wanted to be on the show at Taproot. What is wrong with you, brother?
It's funny because when you told me that, I said, why didn't you ask him if you could get on the Taproot show? He's like, we did. They said no. I'm like, oh, yeah, I suppose. We have to support. Like, before we even booked those, we had to support, like, and it's funny because if John would have hit me up a little earlier, I totally would have. I would have gotten.
Yeah, we could have made that work.
See now it's my fault. Right?
Not you, the other John with an H.
I know, I got you. Yeah. Hi, Jared. Hi, Phil. How you doing?
Hey, what's up, man?
How you doing, John?
Good to see you, man.
It's like 2005 all over again.
I know, right? I love it.
That's right.
Should do more of it.
For sure.
Yes.
2005 was almost 20 years ago now.
Oh my goodness, that's crazy.
Old. You guys feel old? You guys feel kind of old every now and again?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Except for Phil, his Asian genes are aging in reverse.
I know, man. I want to take what you're taking.
Right.
Me too.
Yeah.
How you been, John?
I've been good, man. Thank you. Yeah, just
where are you at these days?
Where am I? Nashville.
Okay, nice.
Nashville, yeah. It's funny. I was just watching.
Is that a music town of some sort?
Yeah, a couple of musicians floating around here. But yeah, I was just watching America's Got Talent, and friends of ours were on it tonight.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
And yes, and they were like, it's known as a country town, and this, that, and the other thing. They're like, rock and roll kind of gets lost here in this town, and they were totally right. It's unfortunately it's not a big rock and roll town, but there's a few good ones here. So I hope they do well. Those guys.
Cool. What are they called?
Yeah, they're called True Villains.
That's a good name.
So, yeah, good band. And I wish the best for them. But so what's going on with you guys, man? Everything good? You guys got some new stuff coming?
Yeah, we're back at it. We've had about, I don't know, good 10 years, mostly off.
Dude, I love this. Doesn't it feel like 20 years ago now? Like we're talking about Scissors coming out and the first show, and so funny. This feels so old. It feels like 8 years ago.
Off, the occasional like reunion show just for fun in the hometown of,
Sure.
usually the Machine Shop or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been 6 years since we've done anything. Our singer worked on a new record, and that's coming out. So yeah, man, we got some
That's
cool
awesome.
stuff coming out.
I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah,
We're
timing is
mostly
right.
Yeah.
We're just gonna do weekend warrior things, and so we've got it's basically from here until mid-December. I think we got about 20 shows booked, and so we're doing some long weekends here and there, and
Yeah.
kind of a cool way to do it. That way you don't, obviously the shows have a tendency to sell a little better on the weekends, and
Yep.
we can just kind of head out and then do our things with our working families and whatever else we do, during the week, and it's pretty cool.
Awesome.
Works so good.
You guys remember those like 6-week long tours
Oh,
and
yeah,
all that
dude.
stuff? It's like they just kill you. So the weekend warrior thing actually does make a lot of sense.
It
Yeah.
does.
You know.
When we got into this again, like, look, originally this whole thing started because I have a skateboard company, right? And I hit a bill and they hadn't done anything for it. I'm like, dude, let's do some Taproot skateboards. And then we let's do some merch because I have a merch company. So let's do a merch store. And then, there was this thing, this B-sides record they had. Like, let's do something with that. And then he's like, Steve has a whole new studio record he's been working on for 10 years. I'm like, really? And he sent it to me and it blew my mind. And we're like, all right, let's put this out. And then it was like, they had Blue Ridge, we're doing Blue Ridge in a couple weeks. And then,
Awesome.
we're like, why don't we do a CD release show for the album at the Machine Shop? Okay. That one sold out in like 20 minutes. Then we added the second one. That one sold out in 20 minutes. Then we're like, well, maybe we should do some more. And it turned to like no shows, turned into 2 shows, turned into 25 shows. Like, it's a weekend, but it really does, man, for us. I mean, it just, the weekend warrior, it just makes so much more sense. We got offered a really good amphitheater major tour that's out this year, and we just didn't want to do it. Like, we don't want to be in a bus playing every night. You know what I mean? Like, fuck that. It's just not.
But it's weird though, because like we do these. So like this past weekend, we had our 3rd show. Right, we did 2 shows a couple weekends before that. We did our 3rd show, and like we play the show, we're packing up. I'm like, holy crap, we're leaving tomorrow. Like, we got together for 1 show. I'm like at the hotel, I'll be planning on waking up early and leaving. I'm like, I'm not even gonna see you guys. Like, I mean, it's kind of like that tour vibe. You get to like meet, kind of have time.
You get your tour vibe, and then it's gone right away. You're like, shit, that's the bummer
all that bonding time, the waiting, all that stuff that happens. Night after night is not there though too. You know what I mean? But
it's not.
It's a trade off. I'd rather be home, but it's a trade off. I kind of miss that part.
I miss the summer camp part. That's what people ask you, all the time, what's it like being out on tour? I'm like, well, it depends. You go on a 6-week tour, it's like summer camp, right? You get to know all the other bands, you hang out together, and and then you come home and you have to decompress, and like, you guys know all about it. So, but it's you kind of miss those days, of course. But
what do you do to decompress? Like, what's your thing?
Act nothing.
Yeah,
really.
Just do nothing, right?
Yeah. Like nothing. I don't even want to pick up a pair of drumsticks.
Right.
Like, just get back to life, I guess, a little bit, as much as I can until it was time to go back out, and then next thing you know, you're doing your laundry and you're out the door. So.
Now, how much do you practice before you go back out?
A lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like with Stained, we used to practice like weeks before we go out every day. And first couple of shows, we would suck so bad. Like, man, all this.
It's not the same. Live is not the same as at home, man. It is not.
No, I know, totally. And so eventually you get it together after a while, but.
And remember, everybody, the new Taproot album "Scissors" is in stores $9.29. Make sure you check that out.
So a funny little thing I was just realizing for last year and this year, Blue Ridge Rock Festival was the first show booked for last year that got us doing stuff and got canceled. If you remember, the first show that we booked for 2024 was also Throwdown on the Campground, because we talked to them ages ago.
Oh, that's right.
And that also got canceled. So it's a weird thing, like kind of a weird.
It is kind of, and it's so funny too how Blue Ridge was like the one that kind of kicked all this stuff off.
Yeah.
And then we didn't even end up fucking doing it. But we got paid. We showed up. We got onto the site. I'm still bummed we didn't get to play there. It's such a huge fucking crowd there. It would have been awesome. I know. I tell you, it doesn't feel as bad now that we've gotten to do all these other huge, amazing festivals and played like, and that would have been the biggest crowd you guys had played to yet. You know what I mean?
Last year that was the only one really, right? We didn't have any big festivals like that, with all the big bands on it.
Well, that was my goal. I mean, the problem was last year when we finally committed to do this, all the festivals were already fucking booked. So
Yeah.
like the second we did that, I was like, okay, I called Alex, our booking agent. I'm like, we're getting on every festival next year. And we pretty much did, except there's a couple that like Incarceration, if you do Sonic Temple, they won't put you on both because they're too close. So
Right,
they usually like alternate. So you'll notice one year bands will play Sonic Temple. Next year they'll play Incarceration. That might be foreshadowing. I don't know. I will plead the fifth of all the amendments to the Constitution of the United States of America. Minus my favorite is the fifth. Oh man, it is it's so crazy. It feels like a time capsule, man. It's so much. I watched this before when I dug it up, and man, it was hard to watch. It's hard to watch now, but it was hard to watch. I really was like in my car today, going, dude, am I just gonna fucking lose my shit? Like I literally was like, I might lose my shit. I was like losing my shit in the car, thinking about it. My God, I was texting with Tanya, and I invited her on, and I'm like, hey, no pressure. If you want to come on and talk about Jon, then we're going to do a little thing. And, and I said, but if you don't, or you're not up to it, I mean, I'm not even up to it, but I have to, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I invited her on and said, hey, if you want to come on and but I can't even imagine what they're going through, and Shannon, and fuck, man.
I know, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's like, it's hard. It's hard, man. This one was hit pretty close to fucking home.
Yeah. Especially with, I mean, like you said, with all the stuff we've done with them recently, and as much as you went down there recently, I mean, it was very fresh.
Yeah, I mean, I was basically, living at his house. I go down there and hang out with him and his fiance Shannon, who's amazing, and their dog, who I'm in love with. And I mean, dude, I literally spent like 2 days helping the guy clean out his fucking garage. You know what I mean? Like, well, it really, it's funny. What really hit me today was I was in the car and I was actually listening to Dysfunction, and we were sitting in his kitchen one night late. Shannon was pissed off because we were being loud. It was like the middle of the night,
Right.
But so we were just playing acoustic guitar, and he was like, "Oh, play this," and then I kept fucking with him and playing Stained songs. And we were joking around about starting a Stained cover band, but I started playing Excess Baggage, and he was like, "God, stop!" I'm like, "No!" And then that song came on today, and that really punched me in the fucking face, because that song is like the most depressing fucking song in the world to begin with. And then it came on, and I thought of that, and I'm like, so I might have ugly cried for a minute in the fucking car.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's hard, man. It's that was so sudden. That was the worst part. It was just like, no, I mean, so sudden. So sudden and so just fucking stupid. Jackie, we will not be at Sonic next year, I promise you. So did somebody up here said something about Callie needs a show? Dude, we just played at the Whiskey like a month ago.
And we'll be in Sacramento at Aftershock.
Yeah. So those are your two Cali shows. That's what you get. Either one in North Cali, one in South Cali. That's it. Wow.
Yeah, Reno. We played a few shows in Reno. I'm curious which one that one was.
Yeah. Definitely let us know. So, but yeah, man, we had a lot of fun with Jon this year, and he was he really became part of the family real fucking quick. I mean,
Yeah.
I can just say, go back, 30 years with the guy. I worked on the first two Stained records and worked for Flip, the label they were on, and but we just kind of reconnected last year when all this shit kind of started happening, and it was, he was literally like always one of my favorite fucking people, man. It's still like, you know me, I don't really have a lot of friends. I don't really hang out with people. I'm not very social, man. And he was one of the few people I actually like hung out with socially, outside of when I had to. So it'd be like one of you guys, you know what I mean? Like, people die all the fucking time. They're like, I know, you know what I mean? I know everybody. So it's like every other week somebody fucking dies that I know, but it's like, it's harder when it's like this close and this sudden and this fucking crazy.
And this recent, you know what I mean? Like, you know, there's people I'm close with, but I haven't seen in forever. You know what I mean? That's one thing. And it still hurts. But when it's, you know, when someone that you literally, we've seen him so recently.
Yeah. I mean, he's played like 10 shows with us in the last fucking, you know, at every show he was sitting next to Jared's fucking drums watching it. Literally, he would sit like next to Jared on the stage and watch how Jared plays the songs because he was trying to learn the Taproot songs to fill in for Jared. Like he was such a fan of Jared, and he, you know, wanted, you know, just to suck in every minute of it. And he's like, "You think Jared will be pissed if I sit and watch?" I'm like, "Of course not, dude. He'll love it. Go watch him." And you just sit there. I remember a bunch of shows just watching him just sit there, like literally on the little stool that Julius usually on next to Jared, watching Jared play, man. And
well, Jared's such a fun drummer to watch, though, too, man, because he's got a lot going on, you know, and you know, with the background vocals at the same time and all the little things and his interactions with, you know, me, Taylor, Steve, whatever, while we're playing, and Julius, obviously, they have their own little things going on that they do. It's, dude, I love it. I think
it's funny, man. It's developed into its own funny, fun little.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I honestly, and I say this all the time, I think you guys are better than you were before. I really do. I think you guys are tighter. I think you're older. I think you're more mature. I think you and J-Rod are way more locked in than you ever were in the old days, you know, and you guys are just dead on locked in. I think.
Well, he's the drummer I learned to play with. You know, he really literally is. Like, he was the first drummer. He lived in the house I lived in when I started playing bass. You know, he was in the first band out. You know, first and really the only band I've been in.
Yeah.
For however long.
So he was pretty much the only drummer you'd ever played with, probably, until he left the band.
I mean, like, as far as consistently, I played with Steve.
I was going to say Steve was technically a drummer, right?
Yeah, and occasionally somebody might sit in, you know, but as far as like consistently, like really playing with somebody, yeah, he was the only one.
So what was like when Jared left and you had to play with the mustache guy?
Nick was cool, man. Nick was cool. Everyone's got a different feel, you know, and you know,
he was the one who actually played on Plead the Fifth, right?
Yep, he played on Plead the Fifth.
And he's good, man. I really like that.
Yeah.
It's really interesting watching Jared play. Everything I said was true. Like watching him play the Plead. It's cool hearing it though, because it's funny because it sounds like Jared now. It's funny, but that's kind of one of my favorite things at first was watching Jared play the songs that he didn't really play on.
Yeah.
You know?
It is interesting though, because like I never, you know, when I listen to music, I don't necessarily hear the personalities of the drummer per se. But when I play with them, like for instance, Smile Through Soul, when I toured with them for a summer, you know, I'd seen them plenty of times. Didn't really have any. You know who told me? Let's see, Dave Coughlin, our drummer. He's like, man, that guy really lays back in the pocket. And I was like, really? Yeah. And then once I played with him, I was like, oh my god, he really does. Like
he does.
Like really, just you know, Jake. I can't think of his last name. Kilmer, Jake Kilmer. I mean, he just really had this pocket that I've never, you know, just a certain, almost too far back. He's so relaxed, such a calm dude. You know what I mean? Like Dave Coughlin's got a nice pocket to play with. I love playing with him too. You know, but it is with Jared is just a whole nother like just subconscious. I don't have to think about it. You know, we just play.
Yeah, you can tell, man. You can feel it. You know, I mean, these festival shows have been fucking great. I think Sonic Temple is the best one you guys have done so far. I mean, Sick New World, you were kind of just sort of figuring it out again, and there was technical.
Yeah, issues. It was. Yeah, well, Sick New World was. I mean, people are like, "Oh my god, that must have been so amazing." It was kind of weird, you know. Yeah. Just the way it's just the feel of it was different. The sound on stage wasn't great. And so, you know, it's like, I mean, it reminded me of Ozfest because lots of Ozfest days, the sound on stage wasn't great.
Yeah.
You know, and you just kind of learn to do with it. But having done a bunch of headliners where you all the time in the world to sound check, to go from that to all of a sudden, oh crap, you know, it wasn't the smoothest.
I know, to just throw and go, man. And all of these have just been, I don't know if people realize this, all these festivals like are just complete throw and go. You don't get a sound check. You barely get a line check. Like,
yeah.
You know, the funny thing was, I think Sick New World, we got more of a sound check than we did at any of them because they had that rotating stage. So you got
the problem though was we played before or right after Helmet, and Helmet was so like they are the loudest band I've ever heard on for stage sound. Like we were talking, yeah, we were on stage, you know, several times that day watching the other bands, having conversations, you know, talking like normal, you know, when you're behind them, it's no problem. When Helmet was on, we're literally, you know, talking in each other's, like, you know, right into someone's ear. It's like, what? They were so loud. I mean, I love Helmet, man. But man, they were loud. They are so loud. So yeah, that one was hard to communicate. So we had the time, but we just didn't have the communication. We couldn't really hear each other.
Yeah.
And we're, you know, it's our first festival, real big festival like that. Rockville, I think, you know, was a little bit better as far as certain things go, but it just still didn't quite click yet. And then Sonic Temple, you know, we also took a little bit more time on Sonic Temple to kind of line check, and you know, I helped dial in the monitors right before we played. I had to be on stage. I was like, oh, I'll do this. Heck yeah, if they're gonna give us time. We had a little bit of time to really dial it in, because with the stages side by side, I guess we you know, kind of had a little bit more time to really mess with that. So that worked out nicely. We brought down Josh to actually do sound for us, and
Josh was
you
great.
know, he was awesome.
Yeah, no, I really feel like we kind of dialed it in, and now we got 2 more, Louder Than Life and Aftershock,
Yeah,
to
those would be great.
really dial it in. And Capulet Fest, we still got a bunch of shows left. Isn't it weird? How do you feel now that you're home and you're home for like 2 months? It's kind of weird. I'm kind of like, I'm thrilled, sort of, but kind of like, oh.
I know it's gonna come fast. You know, I'm ready. I'm booking hotels for that East Coast run and trying to get it lined up. But yeah, it's gonna. I mean, I've got a lot going on between now and then, so it's gonna go fast for me.
I know.
I just got to make sure to play still, so I don't have to keep working. You know, keep getting blisters.
I know, dude. That's got to be the worst. Like, fuck. Especially as hard as you play.
Well, it's nice to have 3. Like, it's nice though, because even when I do get a blister, like I got a blister after Sick New World. Well, I think it was after the second show, was at Phoenix or whatever, and I'd play Sick New World with a bit of a blister, and then it popped. Yeah, it started tearing off. It started tearing off at Sick New World.
Oh, come on.
But yeah, but then we didn't have any shows, right? It's not like on tour where you get a blister and tears off.
You get a blister, then you turn into a callus because you keep fucking playing, you know.
Yeah, but it tears away and it's painful, and I didn't have to deal with any of that because we're done, right? Yeah, the blister popped, but we were done last show for like a week or 2.
And then you probably didn't touch your bass for that week or 2.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I took it easier. And then the other interesting thing is, though, even under the blister, because I've had them so many times, it's already kind of built up. It's weird. It's not like exposed skin. It's just like, yeah, we've done this before. We know what we're doing.
Hey there, Jen.
Hey,
What's
Jen.
up, Chris Ruzick?
Yeah.
Brad Nolan. Did you see PRP posted an article about Steve being side stage at Limp Bizkit?
Yeah. Based on his Instagram
Facebook
comment.
post, or
But
Instagram.
Brad Nolan's the one that did that 5 reasons to go see Taproot live.
Yes,
Which is awesome.
it was great.
Yeah,
We
thank
love
you, Brad.
We love you, Brad Nolan.
Oh yeah.
Chicago.
Working on it, thinking about it.
Yeah, well, probably next year. But we're talking
Yeah.
about some other. We might have a show Chicago adjacent that gets announced for this year. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Hell yeah, the PRP. Do you remember what the PRP stands for, Phil?
Pimp Rock Palace.
That's right. They should go back to that. They should go back to full on. You hear that, Wook? Just go back to the
Yeah,
Pimp
Wookie
Rock
Bus
Palace.
back in the day, dude. We were there at the beginning, man.
I know.
When all that stuff was so new and nobody knew what the heck they were doing. All these home built home pages and stuff.
Oh yeah. I didn't, and we had Loudside, which was like Blabbermouth before Blabbermouth existed.
Yeah.
And that was like the big news site for whatever fucking, I don't even know how it happened. It just happened. And then we stopped worrying about it and started doing street marketing. But yeah, it was crazy to think, man. It was basically just, there was a time when Blabbermouth didn't exist, and it was basically just us and the PRP. And like, that was pretty much it.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And I think it's amazing. The fact that the PRP is still around and all that is just wild to me. Like, you know, just because like it was such a small thing at the beginning that, you know, all these local bands, you know, up and coming, nobody bands, right? Like that were just trying to, you know, and they were reporting on, you know, I think they were reporting on us before we were even signed, if I remember right. You know, because we knew Wookiee Bus from back in the day, and You know what I mean? To just see that from then to now it's just wild.
It is. It's crazy, right? Dude, I did. Yeah, I miss those days, man. It was fun, like watching everybody come up and even Stained, man. Like I saw Stained play like their first 3 shows after they got signed. Like they
Yeah.
played at a church in Bakersfield for. I think we talked about it. I don't remember. We might have talked about it when Jon was on Taproot Tuesday, but Stained played at a church in Bakersfield. No, Santa Barbara, and there was like 8 people there, literally. And then they opened for Kid Rock at the Roxy a couple of days later, and that was interesting.
So people, I mean, like what doing these festivals has reminded me of is that all of us came from very humble beginnings, and even like from not just the bands though, but also a lot of these crew guys. Like the reason why we were on stage with Limp Bizkit was because Cadaver, their guitar tech for us way back when, and he used to guitar tech for Alien Ant Farm way back when, and he's now guitar teching for one of the greatest guitar players of all time.
Yeah.
Like it's just, we had just Cyrus Peters was in a band that toured with us back in the day, and now he's helping out with like Pantera and Korn, and we have all these guys that we've known, that we were just starting out with as just guys on the road. Brian, the sound guy for Sum 41, started out with us, just a friend of ours from home, from the West Coast rather, and he did wanted to guitar tech for us, and we gave him a chance. But he wanted to also do sound, so we gave him a chance.
And now he's like a big sound guy.
And now he's a big sound guy, dude, and he's doing awesome. And he's
another guy that's Breaking Benjamin.
It. Yeah, he was with Breaking Benjamin for a long time, man.
That's awesome. Oh, dude, it's so funny. Dude. These festivals are just like a fucking weird family reunion. Too. Like, how many people did you see? Like when I saw Mike Mushak when you guys played, he was up on the side of the stage watching you play. And
did he? I saw him.
Oh yeah, he was up there.
Biscuit.
Yeah,
okay, nice.
On side stage for a bunch of it, actually.
Yeah, awesome.
But dude, you got to meet and fanboy out on Rob Flynn a little bit.
Yeah, I got to talk to Rob, and he what was wild to me is he's like, "Oh yeah, I know you." I was like, "Really?"
Oh yeah, he knew all about it. He's like, "Didn't you guys do this and this and this and this?" And Phil's just
It's still weird to me when people like that know who we are.
Rob's a cool dude. I'm trying to think who else I saw that I hadn't seen fucking forever.
We saw Jose from Sirius Radio. That was nice. I hadn't seen him in forever.
Yeah, well, since the last time you saw him, didn't you guys see him at Rockville?
Did not. Nope.
Oh, some of the guys did. I didn't either. I didn't.
Yeah, that's what he said. He said some of the guys saw him. I didn't. It was one of those things I thought I consciously went to the media tent to.
Yeah, me too.
That day because I had not seen him at any of the other things. I'm like, this is probably my last chance, and I was like, oh yeah, we have Aftershock, we have Louder Than Life. Yeah. But still, I made a point to go say hi to him because it'd been a long time, and he's been a big supporter of ours in the past, and just wanted to say hi, and
I know I love.
He's a good dude, man. Yeah,
he is a good dude. I'm happy I got to run into him again because I didn't see him at Rockville, and I was kind of surprised I didn't. I was like, well, things we're only at these things for one day, you know what I mean? And
Well, another guy with humble beginnings. I mean, back in he's pretty much started with Sirius. Back in 2000 when Sirius was just kicking off the ground, next to, it's just like these guys and he's still doing it after all these years and built up a big name for himself. Everyone knows who he is now,
Maybe I miss cool things about humble beginnings, and I think we all pretty much came from the humblest, most ridiculous beginnings, And now it's funny, man, see everybody else come up and see all these people doing good things and coming back and doing good things again. And, it's an interesting cycle for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Does anybody got anything nice to say about Jon? Man, again, I'm still. So when did you guys play with Stained? You guys toured with Stained a little bit. When did you guys experience Stained for the first time?
For the first time, it's hard to say. I think we had done some festivals with them here and there.
Radio shows and stuff.
Yep, and obviously knew of them when with Biscuit and all that kind of era. But as far as like the tour we did with them was the Fall Brawl tour. It was Stained, POD, us, and Flyleaf. Yep, there it is.
That's right.
Yeah,
little picture. Look at this cute little picture. Look at Bill. He looks like he's 12.
I know,
Jared. Hang on
I
one second.
think we that might have been the first tour of that run, or maybe Chevelle was. I think Chevelle was, and then that was in the fall.
Okay. Well, I hope
But
it was in the fall, or it's a really
right.
misleading name.
We didn't really connect with Stain until probably about halfway through. Then we started really connecting with them. Same thing with POD. And with POD, we had seen those guys numerous times, and just never connected with them until that tour, like because we're both on Atlantic, and for whatever reason, you know, they're great guys, man. They are such good guys, and we, for whatever reason, just kind of, you know, I don't know if it was a weird competition thing in the back of our heads or what. We just kind of saw them and just never really introduced ourselves or made a point to say anything more than hey, you know. But then finally on that tour, man, we got to know them, and dude, I love those guys.
No, I was talking to their manager actually. I don't remember. Was that Rockville or was it? Which one did we play with POD?
That was Rockville. Yep.
Yeah, I was talking to their manager, and they were like, "Let's do some shit together next year."
Yeah, that'd be sweet. Yeah, I watched them.
Rad?
I didn't get to say hi to any of them, but I watched them.
Yeah, I saw Marcos for a minute, and he was the one who was like, "Bro, this is our manager. You guys got to talk." I'm like, yeah, okay. So yeah, I saw Marcus for a second, and I saw Sonny for a second. And it's cool.
Yeah.
It was cool. I'm glad I like those guys too, man. They're good dudes. I'm glad I bumped into them. You know.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
just shared sound guys with them that day.
There we go. We did. He was a good sound guy too, but yeah, I like Josh though, man. He did a good job.
Josh knows us, man. Josh has mixed us before. He's familiar with us. You know, he's good at what he does, and he had more time to kind of dial us in. You know.
He did. So hey, I'm gonna run some more of this thing. If you got to.
I do. I'm gonna go. I'm actually getting a little bit sick. I'm hoping to sleep it off and not have anything come on me. My throat's getting a little sore and stuff. So
no, we don't want that. We don't want Bill sick. He'll get
we do not.
Some Zycam.
Yeah, right. I'm gonna drink some raw milk and sleep on that. I'll be good to go.
That's right. I forget the raw milk. Get some raw milk. All right, guys. Well, we're gonna hang out. You can stay and hang out with me, and we're gonna watch some more of this encore presentation of Taproot Tuesday with Jon Wysocki. Everybody say good night, Phil.
Good night, Phil. All right. Good night, Tom.
Hi, buddy.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. We rehearsed once.
Yeah, well, we used to rehearse a lot more. Like you said at the beginning, you're like you got the time. This is all you're doing. You don't have the kids yet, or whatever. I mean, whatever your situation is, and you just have time to practice more, and you just make the time, and it's easy. Yes. Nowadays, like we're checking each other's calendars, and like it was probably about 6 weeks ago, or probably about 8-9 weeks ago now, and me, Jared, and Taylor are texting each other like, "What days do you have open? What weekend?" And we had literally one weekend in which we could all get together and get something going. We're like, I guess that's it. And it was like 2 weeks before the first show.
Yep. So, cram time. Yep. Absolutely.
It was a bummer because we got offered like a huge. So a band dropped off a huge festival like a week before that, and they offered us the headlining spot on the second stage.
Yeah, pretty big for us.
Not a great offer. It would have been amazing, awesome. But we hadn't even rehearsed yet, so we had to turn it down. We're like, fuck.
Yeah.
So turn it down. We're like, we can't have our first show back.
I'll tell everybody.
There's just too many variables. You know, like I knew they would have killed it. Like they were all practicing at home, and they all know these songs for the most part, but it's just you can't leave that kind of shit up to chance, man. We have so much riding on this reunion and this record and all this stuff. Like,
and it is different from going from rehearsal to being on the stage too.
Yeah,
like just getting that vibe and that separation. Like bass players way over here.
We are playing louder
back, obviously. Guitar over here, vocal. Yeah, so. Yeah.
Well, also for us, being a festival, like we got to do a headline show for like it's a small club.
Yeah.
We had to work out the kinks of Jared's, tracks, a couple of tracks that we have.
Yeah.
all the little kinks.
Some of the new songs that never been played. Like Jared's coming back into the band. Jared's been out of the band for 15 years, coming back into the band. We have a new guitar player who we just, so there was definitely some. It was great to have that first small club show, kind of warm up show to knock the cobwebs off. And then the second show was like a big outdoor festival thing, so it's like trial by fire for sure.
Yeah.
So John, I can't remember. Do you use in-ear monitors, or were you always kind of wedges, or either is it different now or back then, or what have you done and what do you do now?
Yeah, well, in-ears. I use in-ears, because we're running some tracks too. We don't. It's not loaded with tracks, but like the ones that we do have. Plus, we play on a click too. So I've always run ears since they first started out. Really.
As long as I've known you, you wore in-ears like
years
ago.
Yeah, my hearing was just so shot, and it's still shot, but I need to have everything inside my. Is
it fairly second nature to you at this point then to like just kind of be able to hear the track and it doesn't like it's pretty I guess like I said, second nature where you're not concentrating too much?
Yeah, you don't have to like focus too much on it, and that's just rehearsal. You guys know. I mean, you got to rehearse with those tracks, or if it's a click, whatever. I'll say some songs, yes, and then others I'm still trying to get comfortable with that whole, where you don't have to focus so hard on it.
Yeah, I've told Phil. I said for me, and as a drummer, because I also do some backup vocals. So to me, obviously, you've got your independent limb. So backup vocals always feels like I'm adding a limb, at least in my brain, and then listening to the tracks feels like I'm adding another limb. So when I'm playing and I'm listening to tracks and I'm singing, I just told Phil this: I'm having zero fun playing those songs.
Yeah. He's not kidding. I don't have the singing part to deal with, but I can't imagine doing it, man. God bless you. Yeah, it's tough. It's hard enough just the drum parts. So,
Jared kills it though, man. Like Jared.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's funny because our singer sent the tracks to us so we could hear them, and I never do tracks, right? So I put the tracks in, and it was just I'm like, this sucks. Like,
do they throw you off?
No, it wasn't too bad. I could keep my head. I'm pretty good with keeping the song in my head. Yeah. But at the same time, it's just these weird sounds because we don't have a lot on our tracks. It's basically like these weird sounds every once in a while. I don't know what other people have. Yeah. But it's like basically a click, tick, 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 and then every once in a while, boom, like this weird thing happens.
With the 808 in there.
Where's that come from? That's the only thing to tell you that you're at the right spot, right? Like
that's true. Yes, I know. Yeah.
And then there's a couple spots, with some odd time things that'll happen where, there would be 4 beats in a measure. So you've got the accented click, and then all of a sudden, there's a 2-beat transition. So then it's off where the downbeat is kind of in the middle of the measure for, a period of time. And then fortunately in the one song I'm thinking of, it switches back after 2 beats. So then it gets back on the click. So Phil was saying like, oh, that sounds like a disaster.
It does.
Especially in these new songs, there's so many weird time changes. And like, I mean, so did you use your New Year's Saturday?
I did.
How was it? I couldn't tell. I was looking. I thought they're so low profile. I couldn't even tell, but I assumed you were.
Yeah. So what are you running?
Yeah, John, I just got the new 6.4 audio, and they're, the molds and everything. And they're really particular about sending pictures of the molds and they, the first version, they had a couple cracks when I went to the audiologist. So they made me go back and get new ones. And so it took a couple iterations just to be able to get the molds right. But now I got them and they're just beautiful and they fit nice. And I got the kind of see-through ones so you can see all the gears in there. But yeah, they're just gorgeous and I really like them a lot.
Yeah, they're a great company.
Awesome.
I hooked up with them a few years ago and, they were like, hey, we want in here. So I'm like, hey, I know the guys. So we hooked up with 64 audio and thank you. Yeah, Taylor just got his. Phil, I don't know.
That's awesome.
Phil's going to get his.
What do you use, John? What do you run?
Ultimate.
Yeah,
Ultimate. Yeah. I've been using those forever. I've tried a couple different brands, but I keep going back to the Ultimate ears and the UE11s. It's just a quad driver system, and as long as I can separate the instruments and the sounds, I'm pretty good. Mine sound fantastic too. I mean,
so do you like to have everything in your ears, almost like the CD or you want everything that you can hear?
I do.
Yeah,
I do.
That's what I like.
Yep, I like to hear it like as if you're listening to the actual song.
Yeah, we didn't have a whole lot of time in our sound check, and again, this is the first time I did it. But I found like, I need to make sure that I can hear the click the best, and so I ended up having the monitor guy kind of turned everything else down, so that was really prominent. But then, and Phil, I don't think we talked about this yet. There's a couple times when I realized that the bass and the guitar, and I also needed the vocals to back up, but I had to watch Phil's fingers on a part and Taylor's fingers to know where I was at because I couldn't hear the guitar and bass well enough. And I was
no way.
No kidding.
So I got to get them dialed in a little bit still.
Which ones did you get? Did you get the 9 drivers or did you get the 6?
6. Yeah.
You got the A6Ts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do they have like 9 driver, 12 driver, 8?
Yeah, it gets crazy.
Yeah, it does. It gets crazy. I have a pair of they're called Perfect Seal, and they have it's like 10 or 12 drivers. I'm like, it's just too much, man.
Overkill.
It kind of is, So that's why I like the Ultimate Ears setup. It's just 4 drivers, and they're able to squeeze all those frequencies in there. So it's it works good for me.
And do you get it? I was going to ask you this too. Do you get any? So I noticed too, like my kick sound was super raw to the point where I don't know. I almost feel like maybe I need to get some kind of effect on it or whatever. I mean, does your kick sound good in your ears? It was just really raw, kind of dull.
It's not raw. Actually, it's I don't like effects on it. I just like the initial sound to have that punch. Yep. And it's got to stand out. Kick, snare, hat, they always need to stand out.
Yep.
And with the other instrumentation that's going on, and then you tag a click track on top of that. So trying to fit all that in there, can be tough. But it's just sitting there and just listening to your ears and making adjustments as you go. And
do you guys have your own mixer, or do you guys just mix with the house board?
No, we do. We have I'm big on sound guys being like the 5th member of the band, and we do have one. So now, and we did also as well back with Stained.
Yeah.
And
so you don't necessarily have your own mixing board where you're making adjustments yourself, but your sound guys come to know what you're looking for, and then you can tweak it. Right? Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So I do have like probably the same thing you have. You have your iPad set up or whatever, so you have the board right there. If on the fly you need to bring something up, it's right there. But trying to get in that ballpark to start is always the best thing.
Clearly, it's not live, Sean.
Yeah. So I got to listen to some of the Lydia's Castle stuff, and I really like your drumming, as I always have. How do you find, how would you characterize the drumming? I mean, in the few songs that I've had a chance to listen to it, it seems like it's, I'd say especially it felt to me like maybe some of those, and I remember I told you when we did, that tour together that I really liked. I mean, I think that first Stained album, of course, Terry Date, sound is kind of, the drums for me doesn't get much better than that.
He's the man.
But the drums still sound like you, and they always do. But I really like that. Sounds like a lot of these songs are a little more just kind of straightforward, fun, like rock songs to play. And so how would you characterize it that way in any way?
Yeah, I actually would. They are fun to play. There's some of them that, I got to focus a little bit more in on. But yeah, I mean, a lot of that drumming is pretty much similar to Stained without like all the little bells and whistles and splash cymbals and stuff. Cause I know, Jared, you like to all that same kind of thing too. But yeah, I don't use as much of it in this. A lot of times I use a lot of times with the Lydia's Castle stuff. But it is fun to play, and that's what I wanted to do with this stuff is make it fun to play, not a chore,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Cool. And where was I think I saw a live show from Machine Shop, and that's like 20 minutes from my house. So
awesome. Yeah.
So when exactly was that? When did you guys do that show? Was that earlier this year?
That was. Yeah, it was actually last year. It was with Saving Abel.
Oh, cool.
And, okay. So we went up there with those guys and did that, and we're excited to actually go back. With Puddle Mud and see how that goes as well. I mean, that's a great venue. It's been there forever. The place just rocks. It's just a rock venue. Man. It's fantastic. I love it.
all the people are nice, and they really kind of go out of their way to make sure, even like local openers, they really go out of their way to make sure that everyone has a great time and the sound's good. And yeah,
that is true. Very true. And that's a big thing too, I mean,
when is that show?
Yeah. Oh
Never.
man, you're going to call me
coming
a
up?
date.
Yeah.
It's the 11th of November. November
Okay.
11th.
I
Yeah,
think
that's-
Taylor, our guitarist, has another band right now called Riding with Killers, and I'm pretty sure he's on that show too, man.
Oh, that'd be
you're right.
That's
That'd
I'm
be
pretty
awesome.
positive because he asked me about that date. I'm pretty positive he's on that show with you guys. That's cool.
Yeah, I think it's the second because I know Polo Mud's playing there 2 nights, and I think
Oh,
we're playing
okay.
the second of the 2. So
Okay. Well, then, yeah, I can't say which one's which.
Yeah.
I was
Oh,
just saying,
hopefully.
but I was muted apparently. But yeah, no, there's 2 nights. I think
I saw that.
nights sold out.
Nice. That's good. Cool. Good for them.
Well, I
Tom,
just
you're muted
realized
again.
like this
There you
whole
go.
time of fucking around. So obviously I take was that okay? There you go. Yeah, no, obviously I'd take my computer with me when we travel. So I had it with me this weekend. I brought it home and we started. I realized I didn't have my webcam or my mic hooked up. So it was just like using the default shitty webcam and mic on my computer. So I'm sitting here like trying to hook all my shit up while we're talking.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Oh, I got you.
That's happened to me before.
it happened. But now we're all dialed in. What are your I don't have any, man. I don't have any new bands that I like. Like
I'll be right back, guys.
all right. And so somebody asked this before you guys can answer this. Somebody asked who are the drummers. Here you go. Who is the drummer that? Come on. The thing is, it's not cooperating to hang on. Here we go. Who do you both think is the drummer that inspired you to play?
Oh man, you
What
go
is that?
first, Jared.
Okay, so mine's pretty easy. So I was when I first got into music, I was listening to Top 40 as a child of the 80s. So I was really big on Huey Lewis and Billy Joel and NXS, and then kind of Guns N' Roses came out, and that was kind of my first intro into hard rock. And then a friend of mine told me about this band Metallica that had a new record that I should check out. It happened to be Injustice for All. And I put the headphones in, and within a minute of listening to Blackened, I was just blown away by the drums and just how fast they were. And I played piano, so I kind of understood music. And
Yeah.
I just for some reason the drums hit me, and I just thought I want to learn how to do that. So my friend had a drum set, so I would say Metallica, Lars kind of inspired me to want to play, and then I'd say from then on. I got into, of course, Neil Peart and Carter Beauford's one of my favorite drummers, and John Bonham, and all the guys. So yeah.
Yeah, finishing with the John Bonham thing, he's probably the one for me. If I had to pick one, and it sucks because you always get kind of pick one drummer. I can't really pick one. There's so many great ones. But Bonham, Stuart Copeland was a big influence on me too. I was a huge Police fan, even in their earlier days, and Neil Peart, of course. Now Danny Carey. I mean, I can't play like that, but Danny Carey.
Same here.
Yeah. I like a lot of those groove drummers too. Jeff Porcaro from Toto was a fan. I was a big fan of too.
You're here.
Yeah. So I mean, it's hard to pick one.
Gene
It
Hoglan.
so is.
It's
'Cause
true.
you try to take all the elements of what you like out of all these great drummers, and that's why it's so hard to pick one. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Brian mentioned Keith Moon. Yeah, I didn't get into the Who when I was younger, but I've since kind of watched some videos, and I think that he's a pretty good example of where just his personality and character really came out on the drums, because he was kind of a goofball and kind of a spaz, right? And so
a little loose at times too.
That's right. That's true.
Yeah.
And another thing I find interesting about Bonham is there's really not a whole lot of, I think I found 1 or 2 interviews with him. And so you never really got a sense of where he was coming from in his headspace with his drumming, but yet he laid down all these super innovative things. Right. And he's kind of obviously kind of an enigma now, because we don't have that much information from how he approached the drums, right? From his perspective.
No, we don't, but so many people still kind of whether they want to think it or not, but they're influenced by him in some way or another. You know, he's just one of those guys. You know.
Yep.
Well,
and then did I hear some? I feel like I heard some double kick stuff on Lydia's Castle. Is that? Are you doing more of that?
Yeah, I would say more probably on the stuff that we haven't recorded yet.
Okay.
But there's a couple things in there, and the stuff you probably heard, and even some of the stuff that we do have recorded, just we haven't released. Yeah, I mean, I try to pick spots where to do that. I don't overplay that stuff because I'm not that good at it. So
I'll call them flourishes, right? It's more like well-placed kind of flourishes that serve the song, not like jigga, 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 you know, like
exactly. And if it calls for that, great. But you know, I'm not gonna try to throw that in there just to throw it in there. I'm you know, like I said, I'm not the best double bass player. So
and so you mentioned some new music. So what's next? When are we going to be able to hear some of that?
Well, me and Tom got to get on the horn about that stuff.
All right.
Yeah, but we'd like to get something done as soon as possible, man. That's, you know, how you should keep going as a new band, you know. Just keep writing and writing and writing, you know.
Now, who are the other members of the band? Have there been anything else, or is that just people from where you're from? Or
yeah, well, everyone I met in Nashville. So yeah, Cody, my guitar player, Corey, my bass player, and Tanya, my singer. So we have a female fronted band. Yep. So it's everyone's good, man. They're all good players, and I enjoy playing with them. I enjoy creating music with them. And awesome. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I've tried to put some other things together in this town, and they've fallen apart, or it's just no one takes it serious, or you know, whatever the case might be.
Right.
So. And you find like the dynamics are. And somebody mentioned Jimmy Chamberlain and Mike Portnoy.
Yeah, I see
awesome.
that.
Yeah.
Yes. So awesome. Yeah.
And so do you find that it's a really collaborative process? Because it sounds like that's probably what you're getting at, where, I mean, you know, hey, we've been doing this for a while, right? You want to have fun when you're writing. You don't want it to be a chore. You want everyone to have an equal say, right?
Yeah, it has to be like that. It has to be like that for me right now, just because I really didn't want to get involved with something where, you know, if one guy was going to be the writer and that was it, and I was a hired gun, that's another thing. I wasn't really looking for that. I like to kind of play what I'm feeling for the music. So it's funny, we were just talking last week. We learned a couple covers and stuff like that just to have, like, in case we need them. And I'm just thinking, I'm like, man, I used to be really good at learning covers. I suck at it now, man. I cannot. I don't know. So
because you're probably because you've had your creative hat for so long and you've always been kind of writing parts, and is that what you think it is?
Some of it, yeah. I think some of it. When I first moved to Nashville, I mean, I was, you know, playing with some cover bands too, so, you know, I mean, I just learned what I had to learn, just to keep playing, you know, because that's what I love to do. I love to play. So
there's so many different muscles to work with music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's guys that improv. There's guys that play covers. There's people that just play, you know, read music, and you know, what I mean? They just write. They can't, you know what I mean? Like, it's so many different ways to incorporate what we call music, you know?
Yeah.
I think that's fascinating.
Yes, definitely.
Here, why don't we check out a song? I got some loaded up.
All right.
So check out some Lydia's Castle.
My days so perfectly together, but until daylight fades, I break down. You tear me apart, criticize with demon eyes and feed on my heart. Show
Like a real guitar solo, good harmonies and everything.
Yeah. Nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, so
Hell yeah.
I saw my singer chiming in there, and I just want to tell her, Tanya, no cheating.
yeah.
Can't like your
Yeah, dude.
Love
Dude,
it.
that was awesome, man. She sounds great. Tanya, you sound great.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Where is
she's
she?
awesome.
Why isn't she in here with us? Come on.
I don't know. She's way better looking than me. I can tell you.
She'll be on
that.
next week.
She's way better looking than all of us, except for maybe Phil. Except for maybe Phil.
Not to be sexist, but I love a good female singer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could just, so good.
Yeah, the
got
first
some
time I
pipes.
heard it, I was like, "Holy shit, this is real!" And again, I love John. I love John playing. Like the musicianship's so solid. She's such a great singer. I mean, I was pretty fucking. It's hard to impress me, man. People send me shit all the time, and it's usually generally pretty unimpressive. And I was like,
Right
Yeah.
It
on.
was cool too. Once it got to the bridge and beyond, like it didn't follow the structure that you expected. It took a couple twists and turns there.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
like, oh, that was cool. I didn't see that coming. That's really,
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, and thank you to everyone for the nice, kind words.
Yeah, man.
Dude,
thought
that's
a lot
what
of
we
good
do.
comments.
why don't we do this? Why don't we give everybody a new Taproot song too while we're at it?
Yes.
Who wants to hear a new Taproot song? I don't know if we play this one. Really? You remember this when you guys didn't know what this shit sounded like? I don't know. The internet's not cooperating. Oh no, Cynthia, you didn't hear that show got canceled.
Raised on fiction, what a fucking phrase.
Boo.
Evil's is the only way that pays these days. I woke up next to you. I choke up, miss you more than just a friend. We're scared together. The best things in life aren't free. The best things in life aren't free. Our addiction, cream's the only shade. I woke up next to you alone. Broke up.
You like that?
Good
Yeah,
time.
right? You can all listen to Scared Together on Spotify. If you
It's like good Taproot. Thank you.
There you have it.
That's awesome, man. I
Way
love
better
it.
than that crappy Taproot. It's like good
Yeah,
Taproot.
right? Better than that crap root.
That was fantastic.
Thanks,
Wow.
man. Yeah,
Aggressive, but still Taproot. It's
Right.
like, yeah.
That's
I
kind of
love
the key to this record. It's funny, like the single is like the poppiest thing Taproot's ever done, but then half the record is like the most mind-blowingly heavy shit they've ever done, but it's still so fucking Taproot. It's weird.
It is. Yeah.
It all works, man. It's so good to see you too.
You
I
guys
don't
don't want to lose that identity anyway.
Hell no.
That's,
I think we
you
found it.
guys
You know,
are always an awesome band.
I think me and Steve actually played a little bit of that one night when he was on. We teased a little bit of it, but Hey, I think, yeah. I don't know if the tuning is. Phil, what's the tuning on that new shit? C? Drop C?
I think
Probably
that
drop
one,
C, or is that
that one might be A.
Oh,
'cause-
yeah.
yeah.
I think that's when Steve actually didn't tune properly, so it's actually a half a step lower than A. I think.
That's like
It's-
A,
it's-
like A
It's
minus.
heavy, man.
Or not
That's
half a
heavy.
step, like a quarter of a step, like half of a step. Yeah, it's a quarter of a step low.
Have you heard any of the new shit, John? Here, let me here. Fuck, let's play one more. Fuck it. I don't
Yeah,
think
play one more.
Want to complain. Let's.
Oh, it's
Let's
okay,
do some,
Cynthia. I'm still here.
Someone just put tuning,
Mom.
question mark.
So you think that you need more friends? Well, they can. They'll betray you. Don't you have enough good times? With no regrets. I can teach you. Don't build a wall up just to tear it down. Nowhere to fall when you're already on the ground. There's no secrets when you're alone. There's
The new album version as it is. We played it live for the first time this weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
awesome. Good stuff.
That's a lot of heart. A lot of heart.
It's heavy melodic. It's still
Yeah,
got
right?
that the melodic part of what Taproot is, and it's just freaking balls too.
Holy
Thanks,
shit!
man.
Look, it's BC from Head BE in the.
Oh,
fucking-
there you
Oh,
go.
what's up, BC?
Now it's a party.
That's a party.
Oh man. So yeah, dude, it's so great that yeah, we'll figure out something. We'll get some
Yeah,
Taproot Videos Castle shows
We
going
did.
next year for sure.
that would be awesome, man.
Yeah, dude, that'd be awesome. We'd love to do some shows with you guys.
We'd love to be out with you guys. So
Cool.
anytime works.
Hey, well, you're weekend warriors too. We can make that happen.
Yeah, we really are.
Yeah, and I think so. This year we're kind of doing the Midwest. Everything's kind of Midwest, East Coast. Next year we're going to try and do some West Coast dates. We're going to try and do the South, which I think I mentioned to you. We could maybe try and do some shit together down there. We're going to try and do like
Florida. We should hit Florida.
Oh, yeah.
Hit Florida, especially in the winter.
Yeah, right.
We gotta hit Florida in the winter.
Well, see,
Get
that's
all the
like,
warm states.
I know January, February. I'd love to be. I was just thinking the other day, like, fuck, we're gonna be turning the Midwest into December. Like, whose bright
Yeah.
idea was that?
Yeah. It's
So,
better than doing Canada in the middle of the winter.
Oh, hell no. Yeah.
well, thank you. So when you guys toured together, right? Taproot toured with Stain.
Yeah,
When-
we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did a
When was
nice
that?
little run.
2005.
2005 Fall Brawl Tour.
Yeah, that's what it was. Fall.
Yep.
fall.
With
I still have.
POD. Yeah, POD and
POD.
Flyleaf also on there.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That's a good fucking package, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Back in the day, you could do those.
Right. Dude,
We need to bring them back.
That's right.
Do you remember that fucking one of the first shows I ever saw Stain? And I think it was one of your first shows outside of like home.
Yeah.
You guys played at this church. You remember that church in Santa Barbara? It was the weirdest.
Oh,
thing.
yes.
It was like there was like 5 people there, and it was in like a church, like a converted church in Santa
Yeah.
Barbara. It was the weirdest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life.
That was the guitar player from Low Pro. That was his fault.
Oh, was
His
it?
fault.
Was
Yes.
that Neil?
it
Was
his-
that
it
Neil? Or,
No.
no, Neil was the singer. What
No,
was
Neil
the
was a singer. Yeah.
Neil was the singer. Let's see
yeah.
if
The guy with the blonde hair.
Pete
but
was the
anyway,
singer.
he,
Neil was the guitar player.
I know. I wish I could remember.
They were
this
both
guy's
dumb.
name, but
I fucking loved Ultra Space.
it was his hometown, and we were like, yeah, all right, we'll do it, blah blah blah. But yeah, it was kind of weird.
Well, and then a couple days later, you guys opened for Kid Rock at the Roxy. I remember that too.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice.
Tom, you mentioned Ultraspank. Did that have something to do with Low Pro? Is that what you said?
Yeah, Low Pro is the guy from Ultra Space. It's
Oh,
Neil.
I
Yeah.
didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, basically, Low Pro was basically like half of Ultra Space.
You're right.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First time I saw Incubus in like I think it was 97 or 8, Ultra Spank and
Far
opened. Yep.
Oh
Yep.
wow, busting out some oldies.
at the
Yep.
shelter
That's
in
right.
Detroit, man.
Were we there together,
Oh, yeah.
Phil?
I'm pretty positive we were both there.
Right.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, dude, that show was awesome back when Brandon still had the dreads and stuff.
Yeah.
Dude, Incubus was so great back then. Jesus.
Yeah, dude.
fuck, were
They
hot.
just
Like,
played
Gavin
in
was still in the
Nashville here.
band and fucking
Oh, did they?
Who was?
Gavin, the original DJ, and Dirk, the original bass player.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, Dirk. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was
Such a
badass
great player,
bass
man.
player.
Such a great player, man. Oh my God, such a
Yeah.
great player.
Yep.
You
Yeah.
didn't happen to go to the show, did you, John? Did you happen to go to the show?
Which
When
one?
you guys played in Nashville? You said they just played in Nashville.
Oh no, we were out this weekend. So actually,
right.
I know Three Doors Down was here and Incubus. So
Do you still go
I
out
would
to
lo-
local? Do you still go out and see
Yeah.
bands play?
every now and again. Yeah, I mean, if I'm here, I
Is it usually because you're friends with them? Because that's the only reason why I go see shows.
That's the
well,
only reason I go out. I've never
Well,
like,
I
oh
mean,
my God,
how-
I want to see this band. Like, it's like, oh, my
Yeah.
friends are playing. I will go
Yeah.
see them.
but you do so many tours with these bands. It's like you see them almost every night.
Yeah.
So but no, it's still good to see them, and they still sound fantastic. Science, I saw that. That's their first.
Yeah,
thing
yeah,
I saw-
right.
Or
Incubus,
first,
yeah.
Somebody saw
but
this.
yeah,
somebody
sure.
said they saw Stain with Seven Dust and Skunk and Antsy. I don't think I remember that.
Oh yes, that was yeah,
That was a
That
long
was-
fucking time ago.
yeah. We toured a lot with Seven Dust. I think everyone's toured a lot with Seven.
Yeah.
Those guys tour, man.
They do, man. They're still hitting
I
it
don't
hard.
think
too.
anybody's ever toured harder than Seven Dust, man.
Yeah.
Really.
They win for sure.
I saw them on their first fucking tour opening for the Nixons. Their first tour was opening for the
wow.
fucking Nixons. And there was like, when Seven Dust played there was like 10 fucking people there. And there was like
Yeah.
30 people there when the Nixons played. It's not like it was,
Yeah.
yeah, that was
These
crazy.
guys are still hitting it hard, still pumping out records, and good for them.
I know.
Yeah.
I love those guys, man.
Yeah, great guys.
So what's next on your agenda, John? So we're going to make a record and go play some more shows?
Make a record, play some shows. Yep. I'd like to get some bands to go out and tour with, and like to be support for right now. I mean, that's the best way to kind of gather up a group of people to, I mean, we're not a headlining band yet.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're better off just going out and trying to steal Taproot's.
Well, yeah.
Trying to
Oh,
steal
you
their
will. You
fans.
guys are great. I mean, I think any crowd you guys get in front of is going to go, fuck, they're awesome, you know?
Yeah, these guys know what I'm talking about. But just going out and trying to get some people who wouldn't normally listen to the band to listen to them, and
Yeah, man. That's why we do this, right?
that's why we do it. Yep, exactly. So
I mean, hey, Taproot, like the first 5 years of your career were supporting people, man. Like you guys were like the pro support band for everyone.
well, we were in there too. I mean,
Yeah.
we were support for a long time. We really didn't want to be a headlining band at first. We just wanted to keep opening for bands.
Well, you
It's
guys
nice though,
jumped
man.
up.
It's nice to just play for other people's crowds, right? Like you don't have the pressure, but you can just go out there and
Just do your
best
thing,
to win
man.
it. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. Exactly.
You guys
So-
made that jump really quick, though. Like I remember Stain's trajectory. Like you guys were opening. Dysfunction was out. It was like big-ish, but
Yeah.
like underground big. And then that song.
outside, and it's
Oh,
been a while.
outside,
Yeah.
I still remember the
Yeah.
first time I heard it on fucking K-Rock, that fucking goofy acoustic. Yeah, let me see your lighters.
I
version
know.
From Family Values.
The
And
Fred
it was
Durst
so funny.
version.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
dude,
But
it's
it's so good at the same time, man. I mean,
Yeah.
it's great. Well, it's
those
so
little
funny.
lines are unnecessary, but that song was so good.
I have
That's a
this
good way
story.
to put it.
I have
Unnecessary.
this story. I've never officially told it in a Stained related forum. Like I've talked about it in interviews a couple times, maybe. So
Yeah.
the day before the mud shovel video, so I was with you guys. I rode with Stained down. They shot it like we shot it like San Bernardino. or
No,
something like that.
we shot it at Fontana.
Is that where it was? It was
Fontana.
I don't.
Yeah.
You remember more than me. But I was hanging out with
No,
Aaron the
not
day
once.
before, and we were staying at the Days Inn in Hollywood, and I don't know why I
Yeah.
remember this. Aaron had his acoustic. He pulled it out and started playing it. And I'd never really heard him play acoustic guitar, you know. And at the time, that was like the new metal era. Dude didn't really do that, you know.
Yeah.
And I loved Excess Baggage on the record, like the hidden track, like. And he'd go down and he started playing "Going to California" by Zeppelin, and I'm like, holy fuck, I didn't know you could do that. And then he started playing me the song, and it was a super dope acoustic song. He's like, oh yeah, this is this new song I just wrote. I'm like, dude, if Stain does that, you guys will be the biggest fucking band in the world. A couple months later, I hear it on K-Rock with Fred Durst going, yeah. I'm like, holy shit, that's that song Aaron just played me part of in their hotel room, and then it was like the biggest song in the fucking world.
Because that got big. Was that before the album came out?
Yeah.
Or?
Yes.
It was on Family Values. There was a live version that was on the Family Values.
So that was the live version, but that wrote us into Break the Cycle, which ended up the studio version ended up being on Break the Cycle, which that was our real big one.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like the whole thing just lined up so perfectly. You know, with that version being the acoustic version that was played on the radio into I think we let out with a different single, but it was on the record.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, I think It's Been a While was actually the first single off the record. I think Outside was already like, so that acoustic version was just so big they didn't even bother with it. They're like, all right, well, this one's already you know, was already so fucking big from that Family Values version, which was just crazy though. It was out of nowhere. It was like one day it was nothing, then like a week later it was like the #1 rock song in the world, basically.
Yeah.
Just crazy. And then you were a headliner, you know what I mean?
Yeah, unfortunately then we had to headline.
Now, had you guys recorded that before it came out, like the acoustic version, or no? Right? So that me and Aaron actually played in a band together with 2 other guys, and we had played it in that band, recorded it with that band. Oh.
And then it became a Stain song. The producer who did Break the Cycle heard that song and he's like, you know, did you write that song? So Mike put a different guitar thing over the top of it and put some drum tracks on there and some bass, and it was, you know, it took on a whole nother life.
What a great fucking song, man. And that was the beginning of that.
Biloxi, this is the real motherfucking deal. Yeah. So those are the days.
So John, you said we had to start headlining. I mean, was it that? Did you feel like that went too big too fast to some degree?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, you want to slow it down a little bit, but then you don't want to disrupt the freight train either. So,
yeah, right.
It's one of those things, you know, you got to ride it while you can, ride the wave while you can. And
none of it lasts forever. I mean, for generally, right? No band just stays at the top.
Yeah, it's tough too.
It ebbs and flows, man, you know?
Yeah, it's tough to stay up there. It's, you know, so yeah.
Well, let's see if we got any more. Let's see if we got any more closing comments from the Peanut Gallery.
Peanut Gallery. It's always a peanut gallery.
Right? Yeah, dude, the full band version was fucking dope. I mean, it really was. You guys were really the first band that brought that kind of Alice in Chainsy fucking thing back.
Alice in Chains did it.
Yeah.
Alice in Chains.
Never heard of it,
man. One of my favorites.
Oh, how can you not love them?
Oh yeah.
Oh, they're the best. I mean,
I think you guys both had a little bit of influence from Alice in Chains.
Oh, we had a lot of influence.
This is why. So did Taproot. I mean, Toby produced 2 records for them, and you know what I mean, like, and yeah. I mean, that's the reason I met Toby. So I managed Switch, and we did a deal with Virgin, and I hired Toby to mix the record because I was such a nerdy Alice in Chains fan. I'm like, I just wanted to hang out with Toby Wright, so I hired him to mix my band's record. You know, and that's how I met him. You know, so I think we all had a little too much Alice in Chains in our blood.
It's not a bad thing.
No, never enough.
I didn't realize until I went back and listened to some of those older records, like how great the drums sounded on those songs. Like Man in the Box, if you go back and listen to that snare sound, snare rings for like forever, but in a great way. I mean, I don't know if I've ever heard a snare that fills up a room like the snare on that record.
That it's all the production on that's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So great.
Fucking Dave Jordan, man. There's something about the way that guy made records. And I've interviewed him, and it's funny, we talked about it, and he told me how, like, especially Dirt, like how fucked up they all were when they made Dirt, and like just how it was like he's shocked that they even got the record made, you know what I mean? Like, I guess Dave was on heroin. He told me straight out, he's like, we were all on junk making that record. We were all just barely functional, you know.
You kind of hear it towards like the end of that CD, or you know, towards the end of how they kind of place the songs on the CD. I should say.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, no, that Jerry started singing a lot more too, right? I mean.
Yeah.
Hey, I got one more nerdy question about your drums. So did it look like, have you scaled down your kit quite a bit? I mean, are you like on a 4-piece now? Do you have kind of one tom up, or
one tom up, 2 on the floor?
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, I kind of did that because I didn't want to have the same configuration that I did with other bands.
Yeah.
So, and it just forced me to play a little bit different too.
Yeah.
So yeah. I mean,
do you like it? Is it kind of fun just to kind of reimagine your kit that way with the?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. You know, it's less stuff I have to go to, but that's okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, keep it simple kind of thing. You know, I don't mind doing that.
And it seems so on the floor, on the 2 on the floor, because I didn't even notice it on the song that we listened to. Is that Phoenix?
Yeah.
Like that must be fun to kind of do some of the kind of syncopated pounding thing when you got the 2 on the floor, right?
Yeah, it is. Yep. Goes right over to those 2.
You mentioned, you're always big on kind of the splash flourishes and all that kind of stuff. Did you take away a lot of the cymbals too?
Yep. Yeah. I got a China cymbal, and the rest are all crashes, pretty much just different sounding crashes. But that's it. I don't have any of the EFX cymbals and the splash cymbals. I don't have any of that on the kit right now. I mean, we'll see when we go record this new stuff. I mean, if it needs it, I'll throw it in. Yeah. I'll live with what I got.
Nice. Dope. Yeah, it sounds great, man. Everyone really responded favorably. Everyone go check out Lydia's Castle, man. I probably heard like 4 songs, and I really like them all. Really good stuff.
Thank you, fellas. It was real good hanging with you too.
I'm gonna play one more before we wrap up. I got everyone loading here. So
sure.
Get one more Lydia's Castle track in, and then we'll call it a day.
Yeah.
What does that sound? Let's see if this one actually cooperates. The internet seems like it's.
Wait, which one are you playing?
Do you want me to play? I have Falling Into Place.
That's
the one I'm loading up right now.
All right, cool. Yeah.
Good.
Yes. This one's pretty heavy.
On me, I drove off my beat. I'm not looking for love. Where I wanna be. I'm just living my life. Money another night. 'Cause I'm not sure, baby. Was it born to be tamed? I'm not sure, angel. Don't need a saving grace. I'm falling into place.
Nice.
Come to see what you'll find. I'll break your heart each time. Looking for love. Where I wanna be.
So heavy it broke.
Little Pantera influence there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I know you wanna break me. I know you wanna break me. I know you wanna break me.
Nice. Hell yeah.
Thanks, guys.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. It goes from that like that's a cool there's a little Rush vibe in that chorus. It's all like, cool shit.
Yeah. Thank you.
A little bit of that Danny Carey in the other one, a little bit of that Neil Peart in this one.
A little
That's the
bitty
thing,
ball.
like, we've talked on here before. It's kind of in time. I think you've talked about how just like bands sound different when different people play, you know, and the drums in particular, maybe, or I guess it probably any instrument, but like it doesn't matter who's recording drums or who's producing a song. Like it sounds like John's playing. I mean, it just does.
Yeah.
I mean and it sounds.
Thanks, man.
Great. Yeah.
Thanks
sure.
so much. I appreciate that, Jared.
Yeah, I love it.
Hey man, you
Well-
guys are both super influential drummers, man. I mean, again, it's
Thank you.
so funny. Like since Jared came back into the band and we've been doing all this stuff, and I kind of run the social media, seeing all the people talking about how Jared was the reason they started playing drums. And I know it's the same way with you, John. I think there's that generation of kids that grew up on Stained and Taproot and Korn and
If they can do it, I can do it.
Yeah, why not? That's true. Hey, right? Why not?
awesome gentlemen.
All right, man. Hey, guys.
This is great,
thanks
man.
so much. Yeah, thank you guys so much for having me. I wish you guys the best. We'll see you guys hopefully soon, right?
Yeah, man. Hell yeah, dude.
Hey,
Yeah.
all the
Okay.
same. Wish you all the best. Tanya, thanks for joining us too. Your voice is killer. Can't wait to listen to more.
Yeah, we'll
Yes.
get you on here someday. And
It's been a real pleasure.
Yeah,
All right.
same. Thank you, guys. Tom, I'll talk to you soon, brother.
all right, brother, talk to you soon.
All right,
John.
guys. Take
Good night.
care. Bye.
Oh man. So yeah, dude, it's so great that, yeah, we'll figure out something. We'll get some. All right, guys. Well, with that, John, we love you. Big love to Shannon and Lydia's Castle and John's family and everybody else. And glad we could do this tonight. Yeah, I don't know. I managed to hold it together this long. I guess I can do it for another 30 seconds. So much love. We'll be back eventually. John, we love you, man. Night, kids.